Welcome. I'm so glad to see you all coming back to chat with the book in the second book of this series for the conclusion. It's pretty exciting, and I'm anxious to see what the third book will have. But in this book, Alex is called, and he's read Lily's first column for Spirit magazine, and he thinks it's going to be a big hit. So Lily is very surprised. Alex not happy with his recent girlfriend Mindy because she seems to be closing in on him and he's not ready for a commitment. That's a sad situation for Mindy, and Lily certainly doesn't want to be caught in the middle of that situation. Holly comes by with a friend and Mary Beth, and they're looking for something. It's Mary Beth's birthday, and Mary Beth said, "Well, Holly, are you going to tell Lily your news?" And Lily said, "Well, what's going on?" And she said, "Well, I've met a gentleman, and we have met at the art gallery, and we've had conversations." And she said, "It's certainly not a sexual relationship, but it's nice to be able to have someone talk to me and seemingly have interest in me, since her husband, Maurice, as they call the monster, is never very nice to her." Lily travels to St. Louis for a special birthday dinner that Carl is having for her sister Lynn. It seems like Carl is pulling out a lot of the stops to win favor back with Lynn after his mysterious absentee business in the marriage. She was never really sure of what was going on, but she knew that there was some problems that he was having. They went to Charlie Guido's on the hill, and it was Alex and Mindy and Lynn, of Carl, of course, and Lily and Mark. They had a wonderful dinner, and things were very, very nice. Presents were given, and it was an exceptional thing for Carl to do for her sister Lynn. Lily spends the night with Mark at his home, and they have lots of conversations. They're very excited about spending time together, but just waiting to see where the relationship is going to go. She goes back to Augusta, and she sends her second article in to Spirit magazine, and she feels very happy about it. Kip, one of the yard boys who has helped her out, has had some trouble with the police, and Lily is very concerned about that because he has been in the house and in the outbuildings helping her with things, so she's going to keep an eye on that situation. Butler has called Carrie Mae and wants to have lunch with Lily and Carrie Mae at Chandler Hill Vineyards. They're very excited that he's giving such a nice attention to Carrie and to Lily because of this missing quilt business. She started on the next quilt block for her quilt, and she's going to do a snowflake. And so she gets the idea of taking a doily and cutting some of the pieces of the doily and then attaching those to a dark blue background, and it will make a very pretty quilt block. She's going to work very hard on this because she feels like her blocks have always been lesser than anyone else in the group. However, she's not really a seamstress or a quilter, so she will be doing just fine. Butler takes them to lunch, and he tells them about his nephew James' death. He died with an overdose, and he was so sorry that James involved Lily. Somehow he had heard about Butler visiting Lily's shop, got an address, and that's why he mailed that beautiful Christmas quilt to Lily. Well, fortunately, Carrie Mae was there when Lily opened the box, so she has proof that no, she never was involved in anything shady with this quilt, and Butler is very apologetic to her if he made her feel uncomfortable in any way. Alex's friend, Mindy, shows up in Augusta at Lily's shop, and she said, "I know that you and Alex are so very close, and there's something going on with Alex, and I don't know what's happening. Can you help me in any way?" Well, of course, Lily does know what's going on. Alex is backing away from the relationship, but she doesn't want to be the person to explain that. So she just tells her to take her time, see what's going on in the relationship, and tries to steer the conversation elsewhere. Butler set the wonderful lunch up for Carrie Mae's birthday, and they go to the Chandler Hill restaurant where they've been before. And the lunch has Carrie Mae, her friend Betty, Lily, Corinne, who comes back and forth into Lily's life to help with cleaning, but every time she comes, Rosie scares her away and she's afraid to come back into the shop. Carrie Mae's daughter is on a tour in France and cannot attend, but they have this wonderful luncheon, has a special cake. Carrie Mae obviously loves the color lavender, so Butler has gone to the trouble to have some lavender decorations in the room. Corinne, the housekeeper, has made her a wonderful lavender shawl. Her friend Betty presented her with some icebox rolls. And, of course, Lily knew that Carrie Mae loved a piece of jewelry that she had from Rosie's collection. Carrie Mae had a bracelet, and somehow there was a necklace that matched it. So it was the perfect gift for Lily to give Carrie Mae, and she was very excited. So they're sitting there, they've had champagne, they've had a wonderful cake. Everyone sings happy birthday to Carrie Mae. And all of a sudden, Butler said, "There's one more gift." And a huge box is under the table, and he said, "This is for Lily girl." Well, Lily is taken aback. What in this world would she be getting? And she opens the box, she pulls back the tissue, and it's the missing 18,000 red, green, and white Christmas quilt that Lily had so admired and that James had stolen and mailed back to her. Butler said that he had talked to his suppliers and his customers, and James had sold him most of his possessions, but the quilt he had not been able to sell, and Butler felt like this should be a special gift for Lily. Lily is taken aback, but she knows that this is a gift that Butler really wants to give, and she is so thrilled. So, get the next book, number 3 in the Wine Country series, and let's see what happens with this relationship with Butler, Antonio, Mark, Alex, and all the members of the family. We do have 2 books that we have decided to give away to some people who had sent in. So I have some names and I'm going to draw them out. The first winner is Brina Shaw. And Brina, they have your address and information at AQS. And the second winner is Peggy Morrison. Peggy and Brina, congratulations to you too. AQS will be sending you a copy of the second volume of Lily Girl's Christmas Quilt with Ann Hazelwood's bookmark and a red and white Lily Girl pen. We have a wonderful offer for Wonderfield Specialty Threads. This is a $17 value of 4 spools of the specialty thread, and you only pay a $5 shipping cost. So be sure and go to quiltweek.com/book club and get this information for Wonderful Specialty Thread. They have 36 unique thread lines for both hand and machine embroidery and serging. So be sure and get this offer for Wonderfield Threads. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Andrew Nagai, President of Wonderfield Specialty Threads. Through our pursuit of education, we put together over 1,000 of these beautiful sample packs just for AQS. You can claim these thread packs for free on shopwonderfield.com, where you also find tons of inspiring projects and technique videos, as well as extensive specials offered by our list of dealers. Wishing you well and to stay safe from all of us at Wonderfield.
It's amazing to me. I thought it would be a little more interesting in a book chat if I have some show and tell. And when I have read this book and this series, The things that I have that Anne has mentioned in this book is astonishing. She first mentions that when Holly comes to visit, Holly buys a blue and white cross stitch tablecloth and napkins. I bought one in Germany years ago, and when I moved a couple of years ago, I found it in its original packaging, and some of it had yellowed. And so I soaked it and washed it and starched and ironed it, and I'm very pleased that I have that tablecloth and napkins. I also, when my husband and I went to Rome, we went to a little cameo factory. And I have some cameos that I want to show that she had talked about that one of the customers had come to buy. Of course, I buy the English teas and the tea tins, so you'll see those. And I collect biscuit boxes, which in England, biscuits are cookies, and I have a collection of those. She also mentions that when she goes to St. Charles and goes to the shop for quilting supplies, that she buys some little embroidery scissors that are shaped as storks, and I too, oddly enough, have those. So I hope you'll enjoy seeing my collectibles. Thank you. Well, welcome back to our book chat, and today we are so lucky we have Ann Hazelwood, the author, with us. We have some questions for Ann that the viewers have sent in, and we're so excited that we have now finished this book. So we're looking forward to the next book and all the adventures that Lily Girl has. So Ann, I'll start with asking you about the quilt in your background sitting there today.
Well, first of all, it's good to be back, and thank you everyone for watching. Yes, I have a very bright red and white quilt behind me, made by Bee Stinger, and she lives in Perryville, Missouri, which is my hometown. And she is an avid fan, reads all the books, and she loved the Wine Country series. So this quilt is called Wine Country. And across the very top, I wish you could see it, the whole thing, but across the very top it says Wine Country. And then she does the drunkard's path pattern, which is rather appropriate to wine. And then she has, as you can see here, different, like a wine bottle, and she has some with labels on it. And then some of the borders have wine, just the wine labels. So it's a labor of love, and I thank her very much. And I hope she's watching. That's what I hope. So that's pretty much about the quilt. I really cherish it, and I was hoping to use it for book signings, which are now pretty slim. So I'm anxious to get it out on the road for people to see.
That's wonderful. It's a beautiful quilt. Well, we do have some questions that our viewers have written, and the first question is, Lily is making a quilt Christmas ornament block each month for a Christmas quilt. And do you have a special Christmas ornament?
Well, do I have to tell you, I have a collection of red and white Christmas ornaments. And I really, I love those. There's a lot of ornaments I love, but don't you just love the ones that are dated and personal, and the ones that are made by your children as they were growing up? Those are always my favorite. And I'm always careful where I position those on the tree, because I just want those to be front and center. So I don't have one particular one, but as word got out, of course, about my love for red and white, I have received many, many red and white Christmas ornaments.
Well, I too have some special Christmas ornaments. I don't have a decorator tree. I have a couple of trees, but the ones that my children made in school and Vacation Bible School, and their pictures on it, my nieces and nephews, those are the most fun for me to unpack each year and put on the tree.
Yeah.
So I
they
agree with you that
they really are.
they're special.
And I think our family looks for those too. I mean, every year, like, oh, I wonder where mine is, or where did she put mine, or whatever. So, again, it's always fun to do Christmas. So
it's reminiscing. You said that Carrie Mae was based on a real character in your books. Was Butler? Did you have someone in your life like a Butler figure?
I wish. Maybe that's why I put him there. No, I just thought it was good for Lily to have someone more knowledgeable than her about quilts, and just for him to add a little class to her world of quilting. You know, she was new to the retail world, and he was able to give her a lot of good advice. And I think everybody needs that. So no, but he was totally made up, and I like the name.
Well, I think it was a wonderful addition to the series because my grandmother quilted, as I had mentioned before, and my aunts all quilted, and we had lots of quilted and crocheted items. And when I stepped into the quilt world with AQS, with the quilt show, and I saw Carol Fowler quilts and different quilters of renown selling quilts for $50,000, I just was blown away that needle and thread could produce artworks like that. So
Absolutely.
Butler is a welcome addition to the series. In training, well, she's purposely been introduced to lots of people in this series who have helped her in different ways, even from a sign maker to from a real artist to Butler.
Well, it takes a village, you know. Everybody who's been in business knows you can't do it all by yourself.
Well, and then you even introduced Antonio, who's knowledgeable of wine. So that was a good insert into the series too.
Yeah. Anthony is going to continue to be a mysterious, rather interesting character as the series goes along.
Wonderful. Well, the other questions, the book ends with Butler giving Lily the Christmas quilt worth about $18,000. Which is one of your favorite Christmas gifts that someone has given you in the past?
You know, I really, nothing is jumping out, but you know, it's harder and harder, especially at my age, to be surprised with gifts. You know, you have a lot of things and you don't really need a lot of things. But I love being surprised when I get a gift. But I can't say that anything is popping out in my mind. But for instance, this quilt behind me was indeed a big surprise. It wasn't at Christmas time, but you know, when someone gives you something like that, you're not expecting. Those are the best gifts.
Well, I love shopping and I love to give gifts. Of course, I love receiving gifts, but not as much as I love giving the special gift for a special person. And a lot of times I'll be in an antique mall and see something that I think, oh, a lady in church had mentioned so-and-so, and, you know, get a little something that way. And that is always a fun thing to do and interesting when you're shopping, like I love to shop.
It is. It's nice to be on a mission, sort of, when you're looking for something special too. It is. It's fun.
The last question is, are we going to find out more about this mysterious ghost in Doc's house and what the real story is with Doc?
Oh, yeah. The series is not over. So, and Doc's not going anywhere. So, yeah. So he's, you know, he was there before Lily got there. So I wouldn't expect him to just go away.
Well, we've gotten some hints from Snowshoes and from Carrie Mae's friend Betty, that perhaps he was a drunkard, perhaps he was murdered, perhaps he hung himself. So we're all looking forward to the next book to find out the real story of Doc and the mysterious little house.
Or the next one, or the next one, or the next one.
Okay. Well, that sounds wonderful. We've been very, very lucky to have Wonderfeel sponsor this segment. And we have 611 names who have submitted. And if you will let us, you choose a number between 1 and 611,
That's
and
great.
we will know who this person is.
Okay.
This wonderful package from Wonderfield.
I'd be happy to. What about 101? 101.
101. I'll check the list. And the winner is Martha Short. So, Martha, congratulations to you. AQS will have your address and be sending this package to you from Wonderfield.
Congratulations, Martha. I'm so glad. I know you.
Well, that's wonderful. Well, thank you, Ann, for joining us today. And is there anything else that you would like to show or tell us before we sign off?
Well, I think you asked me to see if I had any collections that I might want to show.
Yes.
And I'm just going to briefly guide my phone over to my red and white buttons.
Oh,
Can you see them? Can you see them okay?
Oh my goodness, they're beautiful.
Well, having a button shop, I was able to come in contact with a lot of them, and every time I ran across a red and white one, I kind of put it aside. But button collecting was, at least at that time, the 5th largest collectible in the country, popular collectible. So I just loved focusing on the red and white. So I'm glad I could show them to you.
And there is a vendor at the AQS quilt shows named Prize Possessions, a lady from Texas who makes buttons. Have you ever found a red and white button bracelet from her?
Oh, hers are probably fancier and more expensive maybe, but yeah, I check her booth out all the time. And yeah, I visit her every time the show is going. She does really creative things with buttons. We did a fair amount of that, but she loves to do the jewelry and a lot of other things with it.
Well, I enjoyed seeing your red and white buttons. That looks like a pretty interesting thing. So happy collecting to you. Anxious to go into the 3rd book in this series, and we'll be back with you again.
Thank you, Ann. You do a great job. Goodbye, everyone.
Bye. Have a nice day.
You too.
Well, I hope you're enjoying this series as I am. Please join us again in the fall when we continue with book number 3 in this series of Lily Girl's Christmas Quilt. We'll see you again in the fall. Check AQS for all the information, and have a wonderful summer. This is Ann Denton, Paducah, Kentucky, Quilt City, USA.